In 1895, the first backyard brawl was played. Today, Pitt and the university formerly known as Western University of Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh Panthers, come to town for the backyard brawl. It's the 107th meeting between the two programs. Let's go, Mountaineers.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey! Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die, and this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe we can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Man, we need to find a Carl Joseph. We've got to find the Carl Joseph on this theme somewhere. Hey, everyone, I'm Joey Foster. Welcome into the Voice of College Football, West Virginia style backyard brawl day. Man, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Listen, guys, I was in the hospital. I'm like, listen, this backyard brawl day, I ain't watching on this little 22-inch television y'all got in here. I will leave. I will walk out of here. You might as well let me go. So they let me go. So I'm home. I feel good. I'm ready. I'm fired up. I'm excited. Shane, you're muted. But what's going on, man? Are you ready for the backyard brawl?
I'm ready. I was just laughing, and I didn't want anybody to hear it. But I'll tell you what, Joe, you're nuts, because we the past couple nights on our shows, we've been giving you shout-outs and sending our good vibes, hoping you're feeling better. Hopefully you're feeling better today, because you're going to need it, because you're going to have some nervous butterfly tummy, and it's going to be up and down.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a crazy day. I know it is. The first backyard brawl, 1895. Do you know what the final score of that game was? It was 8-0. West Virginia won 8-0. But back then, touchdowns were only worth 4 points. So they scored 2 touchdowns and won. If we scored 2 touchdowns today and won the game 14-0, would you be happy?
I'd be happy. I don't care if you win by 17-16. I could give a shit. I want West Virginia to win. It's
just that W. It's all that matters, isn't it? Just that W. Right. At the end of the day, just that W is all that matters. It don't matter if you win 31-30. And so I hear a lot of people saying, well, Pitt's this game's at Pitt, so Pitt's probably got the upper hand and going to beat West Virginia. I think they're 52.5% chance of winning, according to the FPI. Yeah. Look, okay. I think a lot of that is based on they looked at our game against Penn State, and then they watched Penn State play, who was it, Ball State.
Yep.
And Ball State nearly rolled Penn State up. I mean, just ran all over them. Just made Penn State look like they were an FCS program. They really did. But you got to remember, when Penn State and West Virginia played, Penn State was fired up, man. They were ready to play. That was first game of the year. There had been a lot of trash talking back and forth between the two teams. Them guys came ready to play. West Virginia was not ready to play. It didn't look like, but this program last week looked like a program on a mission. They came out. They got the job done against Albany. Pretty good FCS program, but we got the ball, got it done against Albany, which was a big win. I don't care how you look at it. That was a pretty good win. I did not like our secondary, especially in the second half. It looked like they eat us alive. But hey, I'm sure we had some new guys in there covering people and doing things and rotating people around. So you can't judge it by that. I think West Virginia will roll Penn State today. I have a feeling that Jaheim White is going to have a really, really big day. I have a feeling that C.J. Donaldson is going to have a really, really big day. If anybody watched that Cincinnati game last week, Cincinnati, man, they jumped all over Pitt early. Now Pitt came back and beat them, and by all rights they shouldn't have in any way. They were down 28-7, wasn't it? No, 3 touchdowns. That was 28-7, I believe they were down.
Yeah.
And they came back and beat Cincinnati. We can't allow that to happen today. If we jump out to a good lead, we got to maintain it. West Virginia is not Cincinnati, so that's not going to happen, I don't believe. I think at West Virginia, if they come out and can jump on Pitt early, I think they maintain it, control it, and can carry it all out to the rest of the day. Anyway.
It was like 2 games. That Pitt game was like 2 games last week. It was I turned it on the first half, and like, Pitt sucks. I turned it on in the second half, like, who the hell, what the hell happened? What team is this?
Right, I know. So I wanted to talk about some keys to the game today. So let me put you out here. Let me just ask you. West Virginia wins if they do what?
They have to establish the run. And, both teams have decent offenses, okay? That's not a question. Well, the question mark is how bad or how good are their defenses? So if West Virginia can maintain the line of scrimmage and the D-backs not let anything behind them, just keep everything in front of them, manage the game, I think West Virginia can win. If one of those things doesn't happen, if Pitt's defense shores up and plays a little bit better, then it's going to be a tough day for West Virginia. But I think West Virginia has the advantage with the better offense. I think both defenses are suspect and porous, but that's my take.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Now, I think for me, a key to the game, I just one of the firm believers that C.J. Donaldson, Jaheim White, they're going to get their numbers. They're going to get their yards, right? If they can have a good day, all the better. But I think they're going to have their day anyway. I think that they're going to be fine. My key to the game is West Virginia needs to get a turnover. We are struggling in that category. We need a turnover. We need to force Pitt into a fumble or intercept a ball. We need a turnover, maybe even a couple of them this game, to number one, give our defense some confidence. And number two, show us that we can play some defense. Because right now, after watching the Penn State and after watching the Albany game, I don't see anything corrected on that in the defensive secondary. I see absolutely nothing better back there myself. Now, are they better? On paper, yeah. They need to show it to me in the game. And I think that's the key to the game here is, number one, can our defensive secondary step up? Can they get an interception? Can they make some good tackles? Can they cause a fumble? Can they shake the game up? Can we get some pressure on the quarterback, and make him throw some bad throws? I think that's the key to the game. I don't think West Virginia's offense has anything to do with the key to this game. I think the key to this game is our defense needs to be stout. We better be ready to play, and the defense had better shore up some of those holes in that secondary because, look, Albany was just throwing that ball down the field at will. Whatever they wanted to do, wherever they wanted to go, it was open. At left side, right side, down the middle, it didn't matter. Wheel route, hey, everything was open, it seemed like. It was like, I don't know, it's like the secondary just wasn't even there. at times. Some of these players were catching balls, and there wasn't a player within 10 yards of them. And that's bad. So we've got the secondary.
Yeah, I it might be a personnel issue, but I think it's more of a scheme issue. I think when West Virginia went up, they went to like a cover 4, more of a zone. And I think that quarterback for Albany wasn't as bad as what was shown on the field. I think he's a decent quarterback. He read the defense, put the ball where it needed to be. I'm still concerned that, going back to the Penn State game, Joey, you're right. The defense was very porous. Every play was a six-yard gain. Couldn't stop the run. Man, everyone was out of position, pad level. I mean, I don't care if someone's better than you. If you have a better pad level, you can at least keep them from moving you back. That's basic football. That goes back to high school. I'm not a college baller, never, but I'm just telling you, it's physics. Right. I really think the coaches calmed those guys down. I think Albany got the butterflies out of their stomach. I think they're ready to play ball this week. I think the Mountaineers will give a good show. I wouldn't want to put any money down on it, but I would love to see West Virginia come out here with the W because it's going to be a very difficult season. And you said earlier, Joey, and we said all week, we thought the Kansas game was going to be the barometer for the season. I think this is it. This is where if West Virginia is a good team, are they going to be a bowl team or are they going to be barely making a bowl? That's what we're talking here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think so. I was watching something earlier today, and somebody said, I can see West Virginia being a 6-loss team. I don't see that at all. And I think you said in your show the other night, you see us we could be a 4 or 5-loss team.
Yeah.
I could see a 4-loss team. I could see a 4-loss. I don't see a 5-loss team. And I don't think this Pitt game, so even though the lines are, I think West Virginia is better by 1. So it's basically a wash, right? It's just a wash up, isn't it? But I think West Virginia is the more talented team here right now. I don't mean as far as stars that came into the program. I don't mean like that kind of talent. I mean, as far as like experience on the field, I think we've got more experience out there, especially on offense. I think we've got a good offensive line that can control their defensive line. I'm not worried about our offense, not one bit. I really, really am not. I mean, now I said that in 2007 too. So, but I'm really not worried about our offense. Our defense, I'm worried about our defense. So I think we'll score points. I think. I don't see no reason why we shouldn't be able to score 34, 35 points against Pitt. I really don't see no reason why we can't do it. Problem is, can we hold them to 30? If we can score 34, can we hold them to 33?
That's the question.
That's what I'm wondering. So that's my biggest fear of this game is that defense. So if Jordan Leslie's kicked them in the ass and got them going, who knows what we'll see.
It's not stopping the run, Joey. You're right. It's slowing it down enough that you can score more points than the other team because the over and under went from 60 to 65.
Yeah.
It was 60.5 on the show Thursday. I looked today and it's 65.
Yeah. Everybody's going to take the over in this game because there's going to be very little defense from either side. I don't think the other side can stop the other side. And I think if I had to hang my hat on it, I think West Virginia might have a little edge just because of the transfers that come in and the experience they have in the secondary. I think there might be a little edge for West Virginia in defense, and I think that's why the point spread is only like 1 point in favor of West Virginia, even playing at Pitt. So that tells you Pitt probably gets an automatic 3 points just for being home. So that means West Virginia is probably really a 4-point favorite. So is West Virginia a 4-point favorite? Absolutely. I believe so. If it was on a neutral field, what do I think West Virginia would win by? At least 7. But if they playing in Morgantown, I think West Virginia wins this game by 2 touchdowns. Playing at Pitt, it's a wash right now because our defense has to prove to me they can stop Pitt, and I just don't know if they can. Right now, the way Albany carved it up against us last week, the way Penn State carved it up against us, yeah, I don't see us stopping Pitt. So I really worry about that. I think West Virginia will win the game, but I guess me as somebody that comes on the air and talks about West Virginia all the time and discusses things with players and coaches and stuff, I guess to me, I look at things a little bit differently and think to myself, okay, we won that game, but boy, it was ugly. That defense just, I want to see a performance out of our defense where we shut them down. I can remember defenses in the past, man, that were just absolutely amazing. I remember holding Miami when they were like number 7 or 8 in the country. They came into Morgantown one year, and we held Miami like 54 yards, total yards of offense in the first half. They had 54 total yards, and we were beating them. And that's the kind of defense I like to see. I want to see that shutdown defense. I want to see the defenses from back in the days when we played Doug Flutie at Boston College and stuff, and we shut him down. I want to see some mean defenses. I'm a defensive guy. I love a good, strong defense. And if you've got a good offense, that can be exciting. But a good defense can be just as exciting because I'm even happier with a final score of 10-9 or something like that, and knowing we played a good defensive game and held somebody to just 9 points. I'm fine with that.
So I have a little stat here that I think is interesting and fun, and just to kind of take the nerves off, I want to share this with you. It's West Virginia's record in white uniforms. You ready to see this, Joey? Are you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead, Shay.
So this is West Virginia's record and the uniform. This is courtesy of Uniform Tracker. So let's go back to the 1972 Peach Bowl. Goes back in white uniforms. They lost. And then West Virginia won in the 75 Peach Bowl in the white uniforms. They lost in 2010 in the white unis. And then, so it gives you kind of a rundown. But let's see the matchup with Pitt, okay, with the white uniforms, okay?
Okay.
So Accurize Stadium, they lost in the white unis.
In a game they should have won. Now
Heinz Field in 2010, West Virginia won 35-10. And then here you have Heinz Field 2008, 15-19. You got 2006, West Virginia won in the white uniforms. This is 2004. They lost. So they're with my count is they're I think they're 58% win record in the white uniforms. So, if you're looking at the FPI probably has as much of a valid case as this silliness. But I just thought it was fun to look through here. You go back 2018, playing against Syracuse, and now we're just talking about other teams in the ACC. So you could do all the matchups for all the different conferences for West Virginia and see how they did against different teams, So, what do you think of that, Joey? Is that fun?
Actually, I like it. I like the uniform matchups there. I like how that goes.
Favorite uniform.
I've never seen something like that.
This is probably one of my favorite uniforms here. The old 72 one. I like these ones here. These ones for 2022. These are one of my favorites.
I tell you, I have to go back to what I've said before. My favorite uniform, even though I hate it, is that all mustard uniform, that all yellow. Because Tavon Austin could tear that uniform up, man. When they put the uniform on, you knew Tavon was having a big day. You throw him in white and blue, you're going to get a normal Tavon Austin. You threw him in that all yellow mustard collared piece of ugly crap uniform that I hate, man, he would tear it up. So
that's like a little bit of extra Tabasco in the wing sauce. But I have PTSD from from this uniform right here. So I'm not partial to the yellows anymore. It's kind of
yeah.
It's like getting sick on tequila and never having it again. That's the way it was. I used to love tequila until I got sick on it. I used to love these yellow uniforms until 2007. Just saying. So
I do want to point out that I have my camera off for a reason. So I think a lot of people know I moved my office. I was downstairs. I'm upstairs now, and I've moved my internet and stuff, but it's not getting good reception right now. And they're going to upgrade me. I'm getting my upgrade Monday, so I'm turning my camera off until I can get that my internet upgraded because I seem to like sputter and everything when I've got my camera on. Anyway, all right. So John said, what was that? 34-17 over Pitt. Let's go. I can take that. Well, I'm going to see what Talk Pitt's saying here. Let's see what Talk Pitt. One very important thing to remember: W established a run before against Pitt and still lost. No matter how it happened, it's still a loss. Also, look at West Virginia and Houston game last year as a rep. Look, I don't care about that West Virginia Houston game. That don't have nothing to do with this game against you guys this year. None. If Desmond Reed gets going, Pitt wins. Last game, he became the first Pitt player to gain 100 yards catching and rushing in the game. Okay. You played Cincinnati last week. You're not playing Cincinnati this week. So, and Cincinnati tore your ass up in the first half of that game.
Yeah.
Just let's laid it to you.
Two games.
You start slow like that, West Virginia gets out to a 28-7 lead, you ain't coming back on West Virginia. You came back on Cincinnati. You won't come back on West Virginia. There's a huge talent gap there. So, you better hope that you guys start out just as fast or faster than West Virginia, really. Traveling Fool in the house. What's up, Traveling Fool? Scott C., nice to see you. Appreciate you being here. John Carpenter, of course, appreciate you being here. Jackson Johnson, Kelly McCourt. Appreciate you, Kelly, as always. I'm always glad to see Kelly in here. So Kelly sends me his interesting things on Facebook. I look at a lot of time too, and he's got some pretty cool things he finds. So keep sending those, Kelly. I like those. You send those to me and things, and sometimes there's stuff I know, but sometimes it's stuff I didn't know at all, and I like that. It's pretty cool. So
I ran into an old West Virginia football player. His name is Dick. I forget his last name, but he's from Bonita, PA originally. He lives in Butler, and he played on the 64 team. And, man, what a great conversation. I talked to him in Walmart for 20 minutes about conference realignment, about the Mountaineer football program, about the basketball program, about how Neil Brown treats the older players. It was very positive. I had a positive vibe that he feels that the football program's in good hands. Do you feel that, Joey?
Well, I do. And I think every football player, almost every football player, I mean, probably 85 to 90% of them at least, feel like the program's in great hands right now. Now, that can change. That can turn. And a loss today can start swaying those, right? Because it does every year. If there's a loss that shouldn't be a loss, that we don't want to be a loss, players, fans, everybody starts turning. So, but right now, I believe he's got really strong support, and I support him still 100%. Look, guys, I know everybody after the Penn State game was like, we got to fire him. We got to get him out of there. Look, we didn't fire Don Neyland. He had some trouble beating Penn State too. So,
Joey, I think you're I feel the same thing you are. Now, this is what convinced me was the recruiting class. He has some really good players coming in. Hopefully next year, they might change their minds, but right now it looks like a stellar recruiting class. And if you remember, about 6 weeks ago, we interviewed a great couple from Marshall. They played college sports at Marshall, and their sons played Division I football. The main thing they said, it wasn't how much money they were getting. It wasn't the facilities, although those were important. It was stability of the coach. Stability of the coach was the most important thing to not only the parents, but the two young men that are now playing ball. So with that being said, West Virginia has that now. They have a really good NIL pot of money.
Right.
Combine that with the great facilities here and the atmosphere, and then Neil Brown brought in 50 prospective future Mountaineers to watch West Virginia play in that wonderful environment, opening game against Penn State, even though it was a loss. That vibe was electric.
Yeah.
With that being all together, how can you not feel good about the program, guys? Even if they go, even if West Virginia loses tonight and then loses 3 games in conference and has 5 losses, guys, that's still not a bad season.
You know, I look at things, and I see Jackson Johnson in the back room. Get to you in a second, Jackson. I'm gonna bring you in. I'm like you. I look at little things that Neil Brown's doing. He's taken a firm grip on the community and the state to where he knows everything. I mean, he's been down in the coal mine. He went down there to watch and see what they do and what this program means to them. You know, he just became a part of West Virginia, and he's a Kentuckian, so he wasn't that far off the roots, right? I mean, you know, there's not a lot of culture difference between West Virginia and Kentucky, so he didn't have a lot to progress, but he had a lot to learn because we are that flagship university. We are the only football team in the state, really. I mean, Marshall, not disrespect Marshall at all, but I think that's considered, right? I mean, West Virginia's been at the top. When everybody thinks about West Virginia, they think about West Virginia Mountaineers. I don't care where you go. I've been all over this country. Somebody asks you where you're from, and I say West Virginia. Oh, West Virginia Mountaineers, y'all got a good football team. It's all you hear all over this country. I've heard it. I heard it in Kansas. I heard it in Oklahoma,
Right.
Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, everywhere. Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama. Everyone knows West Virginia Mountaineers. You tell them the name of the capital of West Virginia, they can't tell you it's Charleston. They think of that as South Carolina. They don't even know that there's a Charleston, West Virginia. But, you know, I mean, that's just how it is. But they know the West Virginia Mountaineers. And that's because of our football program and what Don Nealon built here as a culture. And guess what? Neil Brown is right there in that same kind of culture fit as Don Nealon. So that's what I feel about it. All right, let's bring in some guests because we got a couple of them in the back here waiting on us. Mr.
Hey, Joey,
Jackson Johnson.
I got to hop off here in about 3 minutes because I got to drive to a high school football game at 1. I just want to give a plug to. You're right. I mean, I've taken a pee in a urinal in Kuwait and also Qatar and Iraq, and I've seen same cat probably as scribing and flying WV on the wall, but I've seen it everywhere, guys, everywhere. But my West Virginia Mountaineer Maniac, or not Mountaineer Maniac, Mountaineer Mafia, guys. West Virginia Mountaineer Mafia. I have a couple shows a week. My next show is going to be Monday night. Like and subscribe and click the notification button. My shows run about 20 minutes. So if you're driving, you can just put it in there and listen to it. It's light. We just shoot the bull. And then Jackson, thanks for popping on when you pop on. Joey, I'm glad you're feeling better. And Talk is Pit. You take care and stay safe.
All right, Shane. See you later, buddy. Now, hey, wait, Shane. Wait. You didn't give me your score prediction.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 24-17. I'm sticking with what I said last Thursday.
Okay. 24-17. Good deal. All right, Shane. We'll see you later, man.
Bye, guys. Let's go Mountaineers.
All right. So, Jackson, Talk is Pit, man. Ready for the backyard brawl? Are you ready to get your ass handed to you again?
That's why I'm running on 3 hours of sleep and 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah. So I thought you was gonna. I thought you had tickets to the game this year, Pitt. Did you not have tickets this year?
No. Originally, I was scheduled to work during the game. However, they switched to me at the last second. See, this is what pisses me. Excuse my language. This is what irritates me about my job. I was originally scheduled to work during the game, but then they switched me to overnights 2 days ago. So now I permanently work overnight. And I couldn't buy a ticket at that time, and it irritates me because now if I would have foreseen this coming, I would have gotten the ticket.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It irritates me because I haven't attended a backyard brawl in years. The last backyard brawl I was at was 2008. So
Well,
it irritates me.
yeah, now I was at Acrisure Stadium a couple years ago for that game, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. I mean, that was really
It was a better environment from what a lot of West Virginia fans said. It was a better environment from Pitt and West Virginia to West Virginia and Penn State because, I mean, let's face it, both West Virginia and Penn State hate Pitt. So, each shit Pitt was going to happen, whether it was Penn State's doing or West Virginia doing. We saw that coming, but it's better when you have two teams in a stadium that absolutely hate each other.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, it was great. It was great. And seriously, there was a whole slew of us West Virginia fans, and I had great seats right there on the 50-yard line and like 4 rows back. I'm sitting there, practically talking to C.J. Donaldson, yelling, hearing the conversation that C.J. Donaldson's having with coaches and stuff. I could literally sit in that close, and so, but over to the left of me. And I was seated on the end, and over to the left of me was all Pitt fans, and it was great. I mean, we was having a good time. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Look, it's a hated rivalry. It's a hated rivalry. It's a hated rivalry and stuff, and things. But there's always going to be those people that are going to try to start something up, and want to fight or something. But for the most part, Pitt and West Virginia fans really do have a lot of fun together. It's a good rivalry game.
Because here's the thing, it wouldn't be like that if the backyard brawl didn't end the way it did. Like if it continued going, especially with social media these days, because let's face it, for both Pitt fans, and I have to call Pitt fans out on this too, and even West Virginia fans, social media has made us comfortable saying stuff without getting our teeth knocked out.
What Mike Tyson said, where it's made us comfortable to the point where it's like, if we were in real life, we'd get punched in the face.
Exactly. Right. And people have said to me, well, you said some questionable things on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, I also expect somebody someday to knock my teeth down my throat. I'm willing to take that beating if somebody has the balls to try to take down a 250-pound guy. By all means, go ahead and do it, because I probably deserved it if it's happening and if I let it happen.
Oh, yeah. Joey,
this 150-pound old man, this 150-pound old man's gonna come up and go to a game with Talkers Pitt one day, and we're just gonna be sitting in the middle of the game, and I'm just gonna punch him right in the mouth. just because of what he said.
Give me, hey, for a therapeutical standpoint, give me $100 so I can pay for therapy lessons afterwards.
I was gonna say that I hate that this game is at 2:30. I wish it were on Saturday night on ABC, honestly, because I mean, what's great about Georgia, Kentucky? Oh, Kentucky's in the SEC. That's great, but they're gonna get their teeth knocked in by Georgia. I mean, like either have Tulane, Oklahoma on Saturday night, or have Pitt, West Virginia on Saturday night, or if you're keeping it at 2:30, put it on ABC instead of Texas A&M, Florida. Because I'll be honest, with Florida going Graham Mertz as their starting QB today instead of DJ Lagway, that shows me right then and there that's going to be a huge loss for the Florida Gators.
Exactly.
Talkers Pitt, we're being trolled. Pitt and West Virginia fans have one thing in common: they wish their team for Penn State.
Well, here's
that's a truth. That's a truth.
Not to troll West Virginia fans, but at least we were able to beat Penn State once.
Hey, we beat them several times.
Well, in recent memory, when the teams started playing each other again, because we did a 4-game home and home series and managed to only beat them once. The last game was very close, and only Penn State won because Alex Kessman will nail a 55-yard field goal and then miss a 17-yard.
Oh man, how about that?
I don't remember that for some reason. Crap at. Yeah,
but you know what? I'll be honest with you, Talkers Pitt. I watch
Yeah.
the University of Pittsburgh play football one time a year, and that's this game right here. Now,
Oh,
leading up to
definitely.
this game, I might watch the previous 1 or 2 games. So like I went back and watched 2 games this year or something.
Yeah.
That Cincinnati game was not pretty. If West
No,
Virginia gets
well,
ahead of you
it
guys like that,
definitely.
you got to remember something. West Virginia is not Cincinnati. West Virginia gets ahead like that, you ain't coming back against West Virginia. Do you agree with
Well,
that?
Oh man.
no, actually, I don't, because it doesn't matter who you are. If we can pull off a comeback like that within the fourth quarter, down 21 points, then yeah, we can come back on West Virginia because, like you guys mentioned before I came in, your secondary is very suspect.
Let's
Your
remember something
secondary,
now. That Cincinnati team is still, I mean, they're a Power 5 team now, but they just came up from a group of 5. They get into the fourth quarter with Power 5
yeah,
programs, real Power 5 programs. They slack off a lot. I mean, they're wore
they
out.
do.
So that
They
helps you.
do.
All right. So West Virginia is not going to do that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean by you're not coming back against West Virginia like you did against Cincinnati. If West Virginia gets out to a 21-point lead, you better hope that you start coming back early. You ain't coming back late in the game.
Well, I mean, in most situations, even last year and the year before that, I would agree with you. I really would, because Signetti is not one of those offensive coordinators who is smart enough to step into modern day college football and make adjustments. Now, when have you ever seen Pat Narduzzi make an adjustment that quickly in the second half? Because let's just face it, I figured Cincinnati to score because they got the ball within the second half first, and I believe we had a penalty at the end of the first half to make it a shorter kickoff. And they were able to score on that. I saw that coming. If that happens to Pitt today in the backyard brawl, I'm going to see that coming. If you guys don't score on a short field possession, you guys got something wrong with your offense, or was something's not gelling right on the offensive side of the ball. Now, Pat Narduzzi's not known for making adjustments like that. He's not. As good as a defensive coach, not head coach, as good as a defensive minded coach that he is, he's not known for comebacks like that. Even when he was at, well, actually, I can't say when he was at Michigan State, because you guys remember that fumbled punt that Michigan State had against Michigan, and
Yeah.
Michigan State won.
Right. Yeah.
He was on the staff when that happened. So it's possible for him to get lucky, because I honestly do believe that it's going to come down to more luck today.
Oh yeah, because I think that was on October 17, 2015. Actually, Narduzzi was at Pitt in his first year.
So that was the year he left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I always keep thinking that Narduzzi, and this is water, not alcohol. I wish it was.
Oh, it's okay. It's all good.
Hey,
it's Saturday.
I don't.
That was drink. Alcohol. That was alcohol.
I got coffee.
I don't drink because I can't handle liquor. I just cannot. I'm either gonna end up getting married, or me and somebody are gonna be fighting.
Oh man.
So I want to ask Jackson here.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you coming in. So is your Alabama Crimson Tide going to take care of Wisconsin today?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I stated on Monday afternoon's edition of Crimson Tide Live, I said that Alabama's going to win 28-20 against Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's going to bring their A game against Alabama.
What is it? Is that game? That game's at Wisconsin? No, that game's in Alabama.
Yeah, no, it's at Camp Randall. Next year, it's going to be in Tuscaloosa, and that's going to be the first time in the series history that it'll be in Tuscaloosa. The last time Alabama played Wisconsin was in Camp Randall, was in 1928, and of course, the last time we played them was in the 2015 opener at the Jerry Dome.
Yeah,
I'll be going up there. I'll be going up to Wisconsin in 2 years, because that's when Pitt starts a home and home series.
Well, speaking of home and home series, Joey, I don't know if you heard about it, but you heard
Yeah.
about where like Coach Brown talked about bits in the schedule, right?
Right,
Please
and
do.
Narduzzi touched on that too as well, and
Yeah, he said the
I'll
same
touch on
thing.
that. I'll
Yeah.
touch on that. So, yeah, there is talk about renewing the backyard brawl and just making it a yearly annual thing and playing it even later in the year, like around Thanksgiving Day. So there's huge talk about that. Now, will that come to fruition? I think it will because Neil Brown and Pat Narduzzi are both talking about it. And if it's made it down to that level, right? So now you've already gone through presidents and athletic directors. You're down to coaches now, getting their input, and they're for it. That means everybody else is probably for it too. So
We
I
need
would
to make
say
it
the
a law.
I would say the Alabama home and home series is going to be canceled. And you guys,
Yeah.
you guys will have no problem filling that in because y'all were wanting to play somebody else anyway, right? I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
saying
'cause,
that y'all
like-
didn't want to play West Virginia. I'm just saying there was another team. Is it
Well,
Notre Dame or
'cause,
somebody?
like, I want, like, on the one hand, you know, because like I want to be able to play. I want to be able to see Alabama play in Morgantown. Like that would be cool. I wish there was a way where there could be like where West Virginia had like Alabama and Pittsburgh on the schedule because I've got the non-conference
God.
schedule pulled up.
Yeah, but you
And-
got to realize something. We
I would
already
like
got
to
to
play Bama.
We already got to play. You know, all these conference games. You got to play 9 conference games. You put 2 Power Fives on a 12-game schedule. Now you got
You're
11
asking
Power
for
Fives. And
disaster.
we do that every year. We have done that for so many years. We can't sustain that. That has to stop.
Yeah.
Now, trading Alabama down for Pitt, that's not a huge step. It's a step, right? But it's not a huge step.
like,
So now we've got to fix that schedule to where we're playing an F. We could either play an FCS,
it's
a
like,
G5, and a Power 5.
Yeah, because like because it's like on the one hand, I'm not too crazy about like Bama, West Virginia going away, but at the same time, it's like if this is what it takes to keep an old rivalry going, then I'm all for it, you know, because like I want to see the backyard brawl go back to being annual.
You know, we were looking forward to the Alabama series too. We were every fan,
I was
and I think
actually looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think every Mountaineer was, but at the same time, we also realized we liked the backyard brawl, and we want the backyard brawl back as a yearly thing. And this might be one of the only opportunities that people are all the heads of the state, so to say, are coming together to try to make this happen. And so this might be the only chance to do that. And I say, yes, let's cancel the Alabama game. I don't care. I'm sure I'm going to hear it from every Alabama podcaster out there about how West Virginia was too scared to play Alabama and they traded down for Pitt. You know, that doesn't matter.
Well, on Monday's edition of Crimson Tide Live on Alabama with the Voice of College Football, you're not going to hear that crap. That I can personally guarantee.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to trash talk Alabama, Jackson, but Alabama doesn't have the rivalry with anybody that Pitt and West Virginia have.
That's true.
Maybe Auburn.
But I mean, but the thing is, how the last time, in my opinion, that Alabama and Auburn had a true rivalry was in 2014, and what ended up happening, Alabama lost, and ever since then, and I've honestly,
we won 55-44.
You know, over the history, I think that's what makes us such a good rivalry is over the history of our programs. Even though the other team had a really good team, we would be top 5. You guys would be top 5, or we would be top 5. And you would if we were top 5, you guys wouldn't even be in the top 25. And if you were top 5, we wouldn't even be in the top 25. But when we played each other, it was 10-7. You know, it was 13-9. And somebody upset somebody. I mean, that is a rivalry, right? I mean, when you got a top team coming into your program and you're upsetting them, hey, that's a rivalry. It's the makings of a rivalry, and that's what builds this rivalry. Because over the years, and this happened back when Pitt was really good too. Look, West Virginia's upset Pitt some big times. So I mean, it's just a rivalry.
Yeah, definitely. nothing. And I personally don't bring this up because I was in high school, and it was almost 20 years ago when it happened. But the biggest game in college football history, even bigger than a national championship, in my opinion. No game was bigger than the 2007 Backyard Brawl as far as what was at stake,
Right.
how many points West Virginia was favored by, and what ended up happening.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. And honestly, yes, that game did cost you guys a shot at a national championship. And will I use that to my advantage? Yes, I will talk about that only if it's valid. If it's valid, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh, well, we did this to you guys in 2007
Yeah.
because let's just face it, that doesn't matter anymore. That was 2007. Because we did beat you guys in 2008 the following year, which should have been the year you guys avenged that loss. But then you guys kicked our butt 3 years in a row after that, up until it ended, and in 2022, whenever
Yeah, because like
it
that
came
whole
back.
thing,
Here's a
that
go
whole
ahead.
thing where the Backyard Brawl went a decade without playing each other. That does not
That
need to
was
be
the
happening.
absolute failure on both Pitt and West Virginia's part. Because we knew the Big East was collapsing 3 years prior to it completely going away as a football conference, because it still exists. It still is a conference in every other sport except football. So we knew Pitt and West Virginia should have got together, sat down, and be like, look, we cannot let this rivalry go. So honestly, I think that benefited West Virginia more, Joey, because during that time, you guys sucked.
Well, I think though what you're saying is true, is that they knew about it years before it broke down. They knew it was going to happen. Why did they not? Why didn't they not do something about that? Well, here's what I think. I just felt like that they felt like whatever conference one was going to go to, the other one was going to go to, and the rivalry would continue.
Yeah, true.
I think they both figured they was ACC bound. Nobody seen the Big 12 coming. Nobody in the country seen the Big 12
Nobody
coming.
did.
And so,
they needed bodies. I honestly think that's the reason why Big 12 took you, is because they needed bodies.
Maybe.
I do.
Well,
I mean, because what would be the other reason why the Big 12 took West Virginia? You don't fit I'm not saying you don't fit the culture of the Big 12, because I 100% think you guys do fit the culture of the Big 12. Down south, blue collar, hardworking individuals. We, by that logic, fit the culture of the Big 12. We're just not Southern. It's the concrete jungle up here. There's different dangers lurking around the corner. There's certain neighborhoods you just don't go in at night or even during the day. I can't sit up here and say Pittsburgh's a great city when I think it's a pile of shit.
Hey, Jackson, you got something in the back room. Did you want me to bring that up?
Yes, I have the future non-conference schedule of West Virginia pulled up. Now, as we know, it's likely that West Virginia, Alabama is going to be gone. What does it mean for West Virginia, Tennessee 2028? Or
the way it looks like in 2028, there might still be another team to schedule there, so we could probably just put Pitt in there plus Tennessee. I hope not. I don't want to play both of them, but I'm just saying that looks like it could be what happens.
Well, I've also Tennessee again,
and I've got
Tennessee. Tennessee's a neutral field. Tennessee's a neutral field.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got Pittsburgh's schedule pulled up as well, and I'm looking for an opening day. Well, it looks like Pittsburgh can move their game with Miami, Ohio to either week 4 or like another week. and they can be able to play West Virginia on September 4th, or maybe they could play it on Labor Day in 2020.
Well, they're talking these new ones though. They're talking about scheduling that late in the year. They're talking Thanksgiving.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I don't care what anybody says. The Backyard Brawl should be the very last game of the season. The very last game.
I think Pittsburgh, West Virginia, and Pittsburgh, Penn State should be the November games. No questions asked.
Yeah, it should be a law. Because here's the thing: Penn State, James Franklin, and their fan base says, "Well, if we schedule Pitt, what does it benefit us?" Because honestly, they are right. It doesn't benefit Penn State to
like. I hate that attitude of like, oh well, where does it benefit us? Where does it benefit us? Like,
yeah, I hate it too, but they are right though, because if they beat us, it's just beating Pitt.
Well, they're
but if we were to
like, they're right, but they're wrong. So
yeah,
like, when we talk about these robberies, though, when we talk about these robberies and the big robbery and how big West Virginia Pitt robbery is and the Pitt Penn State robbery is, there's another big robbery too, and that's West Virginia Virginia Tech. You know, the battle for the Black Diamond Trophy, and that needs to be played every year.
We don't have that rivalry with Virginia Tech because we've only played Virginia Tech 21 times in history.
Yeah. But we have an old story rivalry with Virginia Tech. You know, I can get to Virginia Tech an hour and 15 minutes faster than I can get to Morgantown. From my house.
Well, talk is Pitt. I think the Pitt Notre Dame games, I don't think they're going to happen in the 2030s. I think we're seeing them happen.
I don't. Well, we were originally scheduled to play you guys every year for the next 10 years. That was the original schedule prior to COVID. Then COVID happened, and instead of us just messing with the schedule during COVID here, we decided to go ahead and revamp the whole entire schedule. So we nicked about 6 games off the schedule. Because honestly, I don't want to play Notre Dame every year and get our butt kicked, because that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm not saying we can't beat Notre Dame, because we have beaten them since we've joined the ACC. When Tommy Rees was the quarterback for Notre Dame, who ironically is your offensive coordinator, or was, Jackson. Is he still your OC?
Oh, no, he's gone.
Okay, because he was horrible. He was so bad. If there's a bad hire that Nick Saban ever had in his career, that is it right there.
You know what I always wanted to see? I'm gonna tell you what I always wanted to see, and Jackson, tell me how you would like this. I always wanted to see Nick Saban bring in a Dana Holgorsen as his offensive coordinator.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
And then have that, and then go and snatch up Bud Foster and bring him as a defensive coordinator.
Nice.
And see how good Alabama could have been. Holy shit, you wouldn't have been able to stop them on offense, and you wouldn't have moved the ball.
Well, I mean, Alabama has always historically been one of those teams that it's very difficult to run the ball against them. Now, there's obviously every team in college football history has had a bad period. And bad periods in college football usually last a long, long time. 20 years, 10, 15, 30, 40 for Pitt. But the most embarrassing loss that Alabama has ever had was in 2001 against Northern Illinois. I don't know if you guys remember that. Well, Jackson, you might not even have been born.
Well, I was like 5 years old when it happened, but the 03 sucked.
Oh my God. That was, I want to say that's almost as embarrassing as when West Virginia.
I think Louisiana Monroe in 07 was much worse than Northern Illinois, because I think Northern Illinois was ranked in 2003.
Well, I mean,
I like that Pokemon kid.
35-20, 35-22. I'll address that comment in a minute because there's a couple of things you guys said earlier before I got in that I disagree with. Actually, I need to do it now before I forget because I will forget. I don't think either team is more talented than the other as far as Pitt and West Virginia goes. I don't. I think this year, because of Pitt's new offense, and you can make claim to, well, they played Kent State, they played Cincinnati, West Virginia played Albany. We've played Albany before, recently, actually, and we beat them. We actually allowed them to score less points than what you guys did. But I think Pitt and West Virginia are more talented equally than what people are given credit for. Now, there is one very big difference between our teams, and that you guys have a two-headed monster. Because Rodney Hammond couldn't keep his hands off of Bet USA, he's suspended for the whole entire year. That's the reason why Rodney Hammond's not playing, is because of gambling. If Rodney Hammond was playing, I actually would have Pitt winning this game by 2 touchdowns. I don't. I have Pitt winning this game on a last-second field goal.
Well, let's do something here. So we've got just a couple of minutes before kickoff of the first games. So let's wrap this show up and let's get some score predictions in here. But let's start with Alabama, Wisconsin. Talk us, Pitt. What do you say the score of that game's going to be? Alabama, Wisconsin.
What's Wisconsin's record right now?
2-0.
Who have they played? Who have they played?
South Dakota and Western Michigan.
Okay, South Dakota or South Dakota State?
South Dakota.
Okay. Well, either way, South Dakota is still one of those good FCS programs. They are.
No, I think it's North Dakota State and South Dakota State. That's really good.
Yeah, it could be. Well, either way, so Wisconsin has an even worse so far scheduling than Pitt, scheduling Kent State and Cincinnati. So I think it might be competitive the first quarter, but I have Alabama winning this comfortably 45-21.
All right, Jackson, what do you think?
Oh, for Alabama, Wisconsin, I've got Bama winning 28-20.
28-20. All right, I think Alabama wins it too. I think it's closer than you think, though. I'm going to say Alabama wins at 24-17, 24-21, somewhere in that area. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. All right, so let's get to the backyard brawl. Pitt and West Virginia. All right, talk us, Pitt. Go ahead and give us your prediction there.
It's going to be a hell of a fight. I think it's going to be even more of a dogfight than 2022. I just think West Virginia's defense is not experienced and conditioned scheme-wise to handle the up-tempo offense right now. So I have Pitt winning this game 30-27.
All right.
I just think
you come back on the post game. You could either come back on the post game and gloat or eat your crow.
Well, either way, I'm gonna have to come back on the post game show. Either way, I just think that your secondary is what's going to cause you to lose this game, because I don't care if Eli Holstein was a 2-star. He wasn't. He was a 5-star. He's going to pick your secondary apart.
I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing to do with the post game show, but you come into the chat.
You're not going to be on there.
I don't know if I'll go on or not. I might go on for a little bit.
Well, if you're not going to be on, Joey, I'm not. If you're not going to be on,
come on in there. I'll be in the chat. Come on in the chat. You're going to eat your crow, or you're going to gloat. So you come on in the chat.
Either way, one of us is going to be doing that. I just think. Look, you can't deny that Eli Holstein isn't a good ball player. you can't deny that he can't throw the ball because he 100% can. One glaring stat that I do need to bring up is Garrett Green has had one 300-yard passing game. Eli Holstein has already had two.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem.
You played nobody.
Secondary.
Nobody.
Oh, well, you guys played a nobody last week. You guys played a nobody last week.
But you played two teams that their defense combined together would only be half the talent of Penn State.
Well,
and that may be
Cincinnati's pretty mediocre with Scott Satterfield.
Oh, definitely. But Albany doesn't have a good track record against the FBS. They don't. They're not one of those FCS teams that has come in here and beat.
They were in the semifinals last year.
They
lost to the national champions. That's all they lost to.
Well, that's FCS though. I mean, your fan base has constantly criticized Pitt for bringing in FCS players, and then now even an FCS coach, and then you guys are going to sit there and say, "Well, we just beat Albany." That's kind of contradicting yourself and calling them.
No, I'm not. I'm not gloating. I'm not gloating. We should have beat Albany, of course. I'm just saying.
Oh, absolutely.
They're a good program. They're a good team.
But
if really good offense.
Joey, if they can torch your defense for 300 yards through the air, and it doesn't matter who you have in there, because you're going to have to use those same guys within rotation too. Eli Holstein's going to do the same thing. You guys have to have both C.J. Donaldson and Jaheim White get 100 yards rushing. You're not going to win this game because if C.J. Donaldson's the only one that gets the ground game going, you're going to lose. And it's happened before against Pitt. It happened in 2022.
Well, let me go ahead and get my thoughts, and then I'm going to get Jackson's thoughts on this. So here's my thoughts on what you're saying, Pitt. I agree. Our secondary is probably more thirdary, right? I mean, they're not a secondary. They're a thirdary. That last week against Albany, there were guys getting balls thrown to them. There wasn't nobody within 10 yards of them. That can't happen. I said that at the beginning of the show. That cannot happen. That will destroy us if that happens. Our secondary has to play better. Now, do I think they can? Yes, I think they can.
Yeah,
they didn't show it against Penn State either, though. So there's just that little hope there that, hey, these are pretty experienced guys. These are Big Ten guys that are in our secondary back there. You know,
how many secondary guys do you have returning from last year?
Well, actually, I don't think there wasn't but a couple of them, and they didn't. They seen playing time. You know, they had experience.
So you guys are in the same boat as us defensively, pretty much.
Right, but we brought in a lot of experience. Now, I don't mean they gelled as a team yet, but did they gel as a team last week? That's the point I'm trying to get at. Did they finally gel? Because you can see individuals out there and how talented they are. Mm-hmm. They really are talented. But they're not working as a team yet. It doesn't look like to me. So I think they were coming to grips with that, and I think maybe they figured that out. So is this the week they come together as a team back here in that secondary and work together? And if that happens, Pitt could have a long day.
I agree. I actually will agree. I'm not going to sit here. And
it's like Colorado. It's like Colorado out there. Yeah. You know, Colorado got all those transfers and stuff, but they're not a team. You could take any 7 players in the country and put them up against their 7 best players on their team, and they'd beat you every time.
All Colorado does is play awful defense and pop off at one another.
Yeah,
in press conferences.
Right. They're not a team. So, and that if they could gel together as a team, there's nobody in the country that could beat them. They got so much talent.
They need, because for anybody that watched the Lakers documentary about the 80s teams in the NBA, there's that one episode where Pat Riley just lets his team have it in the locker room. Y'all are y'all are bitching at one another. Y'all are popping off at one another constantly. Y'all are NBA champions, my ass.
Yeah.
They need a reality check like that.
They do. And that's not going to come from Dion.
No.
Yeah, I see that. See, here's what I'll tell you, Joey, so we can go watch some games. I actually have to go to the grocery store. Um, uh, I think the best possible scenario for West Virginia, and hear me out before you try to dispute it. The best possible scenario for West Virginia is they're going to need a wake up call. You don't want a wake up call late in the season. And I understand that it's the backyard brawl. You want bragging rights and everything, but you're going to need a wake up call when you least expect it. Because if it happens later in the season, Joey, it's going to cost West Virginia something. And I think it's better off to drop a game you should be favored to win, and you are favored to win the backyard brawl. I think it would do more good for West Virginia to drop the backyard brawl now and win out. I actually think you guys are capable of winning out. I do. I do think you guys are capable of winning out. I do think you guys are capable of winning the Big 12, and I actually have West Virginia in the Big 12 championship game. Now, I haven't decided who your opponent is because Cam Rising, he's probably not coming back this year for Utah.
Well, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks from what we've heard.
Yeah, with a deadly, life-threatening infection, too.
Yeah.
Tendois or tendis, I can't remember how you pronounce it, but it's basically when you get a laceration on your arm that gets infected and it reaches the bone. Once it reaches the bone, it's 50-50 fatal, but they caught it in time, and the ambulance can't be quiet. That's why I hate living across the street from a hospital. But I honestly, Joey, I think it would do you guys good if you would drop this game, because I do think it would wake you guys up, because you guys lose this game, Neil Brown's on the hot seat.
No,
And
we lose
I don't
this
think
game.
he wants to
If we
lose
lose this game, if we lose this
You think he's
game, I'm
fired?
afraid we lose the team. I think I don't. That's where I don't
You
agree
do?
with you. I
Well-
think if you lose this game, yeah, after the Penn State heartbreak, I think you could come real close to losing this team if you don't win this game tonight.
Here's one thing that will shock everybody. Both of these teams are technically still in playoff contention, because, regardless of how you do in this game, if you both win your conference, you're in.
Right,
Yeah.
and that can always happen. Hey, and maybe that's something
That
the players
would
will rally around. The players will rally around that and say, "Okay, look, we can still win the Big 12 and make the playoffs. Let's just get better as a team."
Yeah,
and take that next week that comes to life. Right. That's where I could see Talkers Pit, what you're saying, that would come true.
That's
I'm just really scared of this
Jackson,
team.
that is exactly what I was going at. Because let's say West Virginia drops the backyard brawl today. Pitt wins the ACC. West Virginia wins the Big 12. You know damn well the committee is going to put us against each other in the same bracket, or they're going to put us on opposite sides. But let's just face it, I don't think either team is going to make it all the way to the national championship game. So it'd be better off putting us in the same bracket. Because if you guys beat us, that'll be bigger than the 2007 loss. Because then that would avenge the 2007 loss. There, I said it correctly.
So let me announce something. I'm gonna do a show. This week. I'm gonna go live this week. I don't know when it's going to be. I really don't know when it's going to be yet. It might be on the Monday night. But anyway, I'm gonna do a show, and my question is going to be, and so I want everybody to think about this. Would you rather be a first 4 in and get a bye week, or the next 4 and get a home game? So
next
that's
4 get a home game.
And so I want
the
next 4 got a home game. So would you rather have a bye week, or would you rather have a home game? And I want to debate both of those at the next show. And so join me on Monday night. I'll go live probably about 7 or 8 o'clock Monday night. and we'll do a show. Hell, I might even just go live Sunday. Who knows? I mean,
Exactly.
you never know about me. Just make sure you got notifications turned on and everything. Hey, listen, Sorgy Stories is live. Sorgy Stories is live. He's streaming the Alabama and Wisconsin game. So go over and give Sorgy Stories a thumbs up and tell him Joey sent you over there. All right, guys.
Well, there is one thing I have to address, Joey, before we leave. I wanted to do it at the end of the show, not at the beginning. Rivalries are meant to be fun. Rivalries are meant to have trash talk and people bantering each other. What I will not tolerate is West Virginia fans using 9/11 as a joke to trash talk Pitt. I will not stand for it. I won't let it happen again. And West Virginia fans need to show a little bit more respect because it was not cool. Because Eli, there's two things that happened. Eli Holstein is Jewish. Everybody knows he's Jewish. I mean, hell, his last name gives it away. I was not okay with West Virginia fans, and I do have proof this happened. I was not okay when they put a picture of Hitler next to Eli Holstein. That was uncalled for. I could have probably looked past that if West Virginia fans didn't make a flight simulator video from Microsoft of an airplane flying into the Cathedral of Learning in on Pitt's campus. That is not okay. I will not stand for it. I will not stand for it. And if it happens again, I'm suing somebody. That's not cool. You cannot.
Yeah, that's not cool to do that and make AI videos about terrorist threats. I mean that's
yeah. I didn't want to bring this up because I don't want to make your whole entire fan base look bad. Because obviously, Joe, if me and you can get along, any Pitt and West Virginia fan can get along. If me and Golden Blue Dude, God rest his soul, can get along, because in the beginning we hated each other. Any Pitt and West Virginia fan can get along. I asked West Virginia fans, if you want us to stop calling you names, don't ever do that shit again.
Yeah. I remember the show that we had you on with Golden Blue Dude, Pitt, one of the first shows we had you on. And at the end of the show, we were like, "You're not so bad. You're a pretty good Pitt fan, You're not as bad as you was in the chat, So,
yeah, that's exactly what. I'm a keyboard warrior. I am. I will trash talk you. Most of the stuff I say online, I won't say to your face. No, if it gets to fighting, then I'm to defend myself. I'd expect anybody to do the same thing. But at the end of the day, it's a rivalry. It's supposed to be a rivalry. We're supposed to trash talk each other. But I can put the homer aside and give you guys credit where it's due. Like last year, I picked you guys to win by 3 touchdowns. That's the last time I'm ever doing that because you disappointed me and cost me money.
So listen, we gotta get out of here. Everybody's wanting to go watch football, and then I want to go over and say hi to Sorgy Stories and stuff before I even go back and watch football. But Jackson, I didn't get your score prediction for today's game. Backyard Brawl. What's your score prediction?
I think it's gonna be a tight one in Pitt, and to tell you the truth, I flip-flop between this game because it's gonna be a tough one. But reluctantly to West Virginia Nation, I'm gonna say Pitt 24-21 because, like it or not, dreams go to die at Pitt.
They do.
Well, I'm going to totally disagree with both of you. I'm going to totally disagree with both of you guys, and here's why. I think that Pitt showed a weakness last week, and it was a bad weakness. And I just think Jaheim White and C.J. Donaldson are going to have a big day. West Virginia's going to control that ball, and I think our defense is going to come up and make a turnover or two, and then West Virginia is going to roll. I just feel like this game is going to just be not even that close. I'm thinking 31-17, maybe 31-14, possibly. I think West Virginia rolls this game. So, all right, guys, that's it for us. We appreciate everybody dropping in. Be sure you hit the thumbs up on your way out and meet us over at Sorgy Stories. We'll go over and say hi to Sorgy Stories. Talk with Pitt, Jackson. I'm Joey Foster. Everyone have a great night.